So I hope you guys are staying sane out there and washing your hands. Make sure you wash your hands. I don't know if you've been told in the last 3 seconds to wash your hands, but you should wash your hands. I've noticed that every single news article that's been put out in the last 48 hours, regardless of what it's about, somehow works in there that you need to wash your hands. As if suddenly we've all forgotten basic hygiene and we all need to be reminded like we're 5 to wash our hands every other 5 seconds. Have you been washing your hands? So that's good. Definitely got to wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. P.S. Wash your hands. And by the way, wash your hands.
Wet your hands with water. Apply soap, apply soap, apply soap. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your hands and wash the backs of both hands and in between your fingers. Apply soap palm to palm with fingers interlocked. Apply soap, clasp your hands together and rub and rub and wash. Apply soap and rub. Apply soap and rub and wash and rub and wash and then clean around the thumbs too.
Apply soap and rub.
And wash and wash and wash. Apply soap. Rub your fingertips in the palms of your hands. And wash water. And finish off with the wrists. And wash. Rinse your hands really well with water. And dry them thoroughly with a paper towel. Water. Use the towel to turn off the tap. Your hands are now clean.
Oh, by the way, if you haven't heard, you should probably wash your hands.
Hi, I'm Wade Deal.
Here to talk to you about washing your dirty hands.
COVID-19 is real. Shelter in place. And wash your hands.
And wash water.
Wash your hands.
Anyway, I just wanted to talk for a second about what I feel like is the most unreal aspect of this. And there are a lot of unreal aspects of what's going on right now.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
In the world. But if this is the new normal humanity, then we got problems. Okay? I went to Costco a couple days ago. It was the first time we'd gotten out of the house in 4 days. We went there to try and get toilet paper.
This country actually makes 90% of its toilet paper here domestically. So there really isn't a toilet paper shortage. I wish people would stop buying all the toilet paper. Other people need to wipe their butt too. You are not the only person with a butt. Other people also have butts. So if you could stop being such a selfish ass, we would all really appreciate it. Thank you.
Because everyone is still panic buying the toilet paper as if wiping your ass is really the biggest consideration we should all have right now about this thing that's happening. But anyways, and we pull up to the Costco and realize immediately that this is not going to be like any other trip to the grocery store that we've ever seen. So first things first, you can't just go into the grocery store anymore. That's not going to be allowed in the new future. In fact, you're not even going to be able to just get in line. At the Costco near my house, they now have set up a labyrinthine Disneyland ride-like queue out of pallets that makes it take about 5 times as long just to get into the store. And there were a bunch of carts lined up next to the entrance to this, and Aaron grabs one so that we can go into the store. Because if you know anything about Costco, you know it's like World 4 of Super Mario Bros. 3 and everything's gigantic and you have to have a cart. So we go to get in the line, he grabs the cart, and this middle-aged guy who's disinfecting carts with baby wipes near the front door starts absolutely screaming at us as if we've brought a terrorist device to the Costco. No, that's the wrong cart, sir. You need a disinfected cart, sir. Stop, no. He's freaking out. He's just completely melting down. So Aaron drops the cart. We continue to walk through this line. There's only one person in front of us in the lamest Disneyland ride ever. He also scolded us about social distancing, I guess from each other, even though we came together, obviously, and we've been together the whole time. But he actually yelled at us to social distance. So that's a thing now. And we get up there. I maintain my 6 feet of distance, as the signs that are posted out front now tell me I need to do. And I say to him, "Sir, you need to speak nicer to people. You need to talk nicer to people." And he raises his voice to me and starts to cut me off, like he's gonna cut me off talking. And then I raise my voice, and it turns into that tone that moms use to scold their children when their children are being dicks to each other. And I say, "You need to be nicer to people." And he just looked at me in total shock, because I guess his police state, cart sanitation tyranny wasn't working on me or whatever. But yeah, I had to scold a 60-year-old Costco employee like I was his mother to have manners in a situation where that should be a given. Talking to people and screaming at people like that. I mean, Aaron had already touched the cart by the time the dude was screaming. If he was going to get the bubonic plague from the carts that they curiously put right there at the front with no sign next to the line to get in, then it would have already happened. It made no sense at all. His behavior made 0% sense at all, which is kind of like what's going on inside the store as well. So all over the store there are signs about not sneezing on people, which again, did everyone suddenly revert back to 5 years old, that we don't know this, that we need to be told this now with signs everywhere about how you're not supposed to sneeze on people? Isn't that kind of common sense? Don't sneeze on people. And the social distancing signs are everywhere with the little cart icons with the arrows about being 6 feet away from people. Because, if you're 6 feet away from someone, you're suddenly in another dimension where you have a totally different air source from them. Just so you know. I never knew that until now. It's like a wonder of science that they've figured out, that if you're 6 feet away from another person, you go into another dimension where you have a completely separate air source from every other human being on the planet. It's kind of a really cool thing that we never discovered before, so that's really cool. And we get up to the checkout line, and they refuse to touch our card. We have to hold our card out, and then they have to scan it at a distance, like here it is, here's my tainted card to pay, or whatever. And we're also not allowed to put any of our stuff up on the conveyor belt. So we can't touch the stuff we put on our cart to put it up on the conveyor belt, but the employees at the Costco can touch all of the things in the cart to scan it. So we can't put our stuff that we touch to put in the cart up on the conveyor belt, and they can't touch our card, but they can touch all the stuff that's in our cart that we touch to put in there. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense at all. It makes none. And they've got that little plexiglass now just with the cash register, not anywhere else, because apparently air and germs cannot circulate around plexiglass slabs. And the Costco employees don't even stand next to the register the whole time anyway. In fact, the majority of the transaction, they're not even standing there. So the whole thing makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. It makes none. Is it supposed to make you feel better? You guys know what I'm saying, right? I find it really hard to believe this is going to be called the new normal or the new way of life. That's the new phrase we're seeing everywhere. This is the new way of life. I think it's amazing that this situation is put in such a manner that the engineering of behavioral changes is going to take place through the grocery store, a place that most people, the majority of everyone, can't avoid.
Shoppers in Austria will be required by law to wear a face mask while buying their groceries from next week. On Wednesday, they are being handed out for free to largely compliant shoppers.
So you can't avoid the grocery store. You're going to go there. You're going to constantly be yelled at about social distancing, a phrase that didn't even exist really in the mass vernacular until a couple of weeks ago. And you're going to get screamed at by cart guards about, the plague or whatever. How is this going to be the new normal? How is this going to be the new way of life?
Wet your hands with water. Wet your hands with water.
Wet your hands with water.
I just feel like all the thoughts and plans that went into, creating this new world, all these Davos panels and MIT writing articles and all this other kind of stuff, and this is what they came up with. And then on the drive home, we drive by all of these pavilions that are on this one street by our house, and they're all roped off with yellow caution tape and signs that say closed until further notice. I don't think I've ever seen anyone sitting in those pavilions, not ever, not a single time. But now they just want to have that visual reminder, you can't sit in the pavilion. There's a rock outside of the pavilion in the picture that I took, and someone on Instagram asked me if you can still go to the rock. Well, the rock's not blocked off, but you can only go there if you're in a group of 9 or less people, because now the mayor is sending out a number, you can call it a tattle, on groups of people that you see in public. And people are calling it. People are tattling on other people for meeting in groups. So that's a thing now. We're at the see something, say something on crack level of things at this point. I'm not really sure how being in a group of 9 people is really any different than being in a group of 11 people. But, however, in Washington, my friend sent me an article about how the governor of Washington is using heat maps now, using people's cell phone data. If they're logged into a specific app, it's going to generate a heat map of where the people are at. So if you thought we were living in Minority Report before this happened, I'm not even sure what to call it now.
Keep a distance of at least 1.5 meters from each other. Walking for fresh air and outdoor physical activity in and out with family or a friend. But the social distance must be respected.
It's gone from about 90 to 800,000 just in the last 2 weeks. It's insane. But I think probably worse than all of that is an article I saw today in Wired that, my jaw pretty much just hit the floor, where they're straight up saying, this is the cozy catastrophe you guys all wanted. You secretly wanted this. You secretly wanted to be able to just stay home, and you're happy about this situation. You're glad. So my friend that lost her job this week and is wondering about how she's going to pay her bills and what she's going to do now and everything, she's secretly happy that the economic fallout of this situation caused her to be fired, secretly. And everyone else, people in Virginia that have been told they got to stay in their homes till June now, they're secretly happy about that. And the people in Rhode Island who have National Guard coming to their house, searching for New Yorkers, banging on the door, they're secretly happy about that too. Everyone's secretly happy about this. That's the level now. We're going to be told that we actually like it. We're going to be told we like this. It's just unreal. Unreal is the word of the century. This is what the best and brightest minds of the world came up with. Wash your hands, don't stand next to people. It's a police song. It
all just means physical separation so that you have a space.
It's comical. If it wasn't so horrifying the way this has all been just rammed in there in 2 weeks, basically.
America is in crisis like never before, and in times of crisis, we look to leaders. Mitch McConnell led the passage of the biggest economic rescue package in history.
If they weren't terrifying people and causing people to freak out like Cart Guy over there at the Costco to the point of screaming at strangers in public, it would actually be pretty humorous if it wasn't so absolutely sad. But hey, have you washed your hands? Better wash your hands. Don't forget to wash your hands.
Wet your hands with water.
Just make sure you're washing your hands, okay? Did you wash your hands?
Apply soap, apply soap, apply soap. Wet your hands with water.
I washed my hands actually while I was recording this. You just couldn't see it because it was out of frame.
Wash your hands!
So, and I'm going to go wash them again now. So just make sure you wash your hands. Okay.